Imagine staring up at a crystal-clear night sky where Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, and a few others line up like they're posing for a celestial family photo. It's one of those moments that makes you feel small yet connected to the vast universe. But here's the kicker. What if these planetary parades are secretly giving Earth a subtle squeeze, adding just a tiny bit of stress that could nudge our seismic activity into overdrive? Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel where we dive into the wild wonders of science. Today we're talking about something that's equal parts mind-blowing and understated: how planetary alignments might create subtle seismic stress on our home planet. I'm not saying the stars are about to trigger the next big one, far from it, but there could be a quiet cosmic influence at play. Stick with me as we unpack this, because by the end, you'll see our world in a whole new light. First off, let's get on the same page about what a planetary alignment even is. Picture the solar system as a giant clock, with the sun at the center and planets orbiting around it at different speeds. An alignment happens when several of these worlds appear to line up from our vantage point on Earth. It's not like they're actually bumping shoulders in space. They're spread out across billions of miles. But visually, it looks epic. Like in June 2022, when 5 planets queued up before dawn, or the 7-planet show we had earlier this year in February 2025. Fun fact, these events aren't super rare, happening a few times a decade, but they always spark that whoa factor. Now, why would this matter to Earth? It all boils down to gravity, the invisible force that keeps everything from falling apart. You know how the moon pulls on our oceans to create tides? That's gravity in action, making the sea rise and fall by up to 50 feet in some places. The sun chips in too, though its pull is weaker because it's farther away. Together they create those high and low tides we all learn about in school. But here's where it gets interesting. During a planetary alignment, the gravity from other planets like Jupiter or Venus joins the party. It's a combined tug-of-war on Earth. Don't get me wrong, these extra pulls are tiny. Jupiter, the beefiest planet out there, is about 484 million miles away on average. Its gravitational influence on us is like a feather compared to the moon's sledgehammer. Scientists calculate that even in a full alignment, the added tidal force from all the planets might only boost ocean tides by a few millimeters. Think the thickness of a couple of credit cards. But subtle doesn't mean insignificant. It's like how a small crack in a dam can eventually lead to a flood. These forces might accumulate over time. Let's zoom in on how this plays out on solid ground. Earth isn't a rigid rock. It's more like a squishy fruit with a tough skin. Our planet has layers, a molten core, a gooey mantle, and a brittle crust where we live. Just like the oceans, the crust experiences earth tides. These are tiny flexes, up to about 20 inches vertically, in response to the moon and sun's gravity. During alignments, that flex might get a smidge extra from the planets, stressing the rocks beneath our feet. Imagine your Earth's crust as a vast Jenga tower with faults, those cracks where tectonic plates grind against each other, as the wobbly blocks. Seismic stress builds up over years as plates push and pull like slow-motion wrestling. An earthquake happens when that stress releases suddenly, shaking things up. Now, enter the cosmic nudge. Those subtle tidal forces could act like a gentle prod on a fault that's already on the edge. It's not causing the quake outright, but it might tip the balance, making a slip more likely right then and there. This isn't just wild speculation, there's real science backing it. Back in the 1970s, researchers pored over earthquake records and noticed some patterns tied to lunar phases. Full and new moons, when the moon, Earth, and sun align, amp up tides. A study from the University of Tokyo found that quakes around subduction zones, like the Pacific Ring of Fire, happen slightly more often during peak tidal times. Fast forward to more recent work. A 2021 paper hypothesized that planetary positions could trigger tidal changes that influence seismicity. They looked at alignments and saw correlations with moderate quakes, suggesting the combined gravity acts as a trigger force. Take the 2011 Tohoku earthquake in Japan, a magnitude 9 monster. It struck during a period of unusually high tides influenced by the moon's position. While not a full planetary alignment, it highlights how tidal stress can play a role. Or consider the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami quake, again, timed with strong lunar tides. Coincidence? Maybe, but statisticians have crunched the numbers and found that earthquakes are about 1% more likely during these tidal peaks. That's subtle, sure, but on a planet with millions of tremors a year, it adds up. And it's not just quakes. Volcanic eruptions might feel a whisper too. In Hawaii, Kilauea has shown bursts of activity syncing with tidal cycles. The idea is that magma chambers deep underground respond to the same gravitational squeezes bubbling up pressure. Fun analogy. Think of it like shaking a soda bottle. The planets aren't shaking it hard, but if it's already fizzy, that little jiggle could pop the top. Of course, not everyone's on board. The U.S. Geological Survey has studied this for decades and says the effect is too small to predict quakes reliably. Large earthquakes, magnitude 7 and up, show no clear link to alignments or tides when you look at big data sets. Skeptics point out that Earth's internal heat and plate movements dwarf any cosmic input. It's like blaming a light breeze for a hurricane. The main drivers are way stronger. But here's what I love about science. It's all about questioning and testing. Recent papers, like one from 2024 exploring planetary influences on quakes, used statistical models to spot weak but real correlations. They analyzed thousands of events and found that when Earth joins an alignment, like being sandwiched between Jupiter and Venus, the seismic hum picks up just a tad. It's not doomsday, but it suggests our planet is more tuned into the solar symphony than we thought. Let me paint a picture with a real-world example. Remember the Planetary parade in 2020? 5 planets aligned, and while no megaquakes hit, seismologists noted a slight uptick in small tremors along the San Andreas Fault in California. Nothing alarming, but enough to make researchers go, Or think about ancient records. Chinese astronomers from centuries ago tracked alignments and odd Earth events, though back then they blamed gods, not gravity. To make this memorable, consider this fun fact. The term for a Sun-Moon-Earth alignment is syzygy. Say it 3 times fast. It's the same setup that causes solar eclipses and supertides. Now throw in planets, and you're getting a multi-body syzygy, a rare cosmic high five. Another cool bit. Astronauts on the ISS feel these Earth tides as tiny weight changes, proving gravity's reach even in space. As we build this story, you might wonder, if it's so subtle, why care? Well, understanding these influences could refine earthquake forecasting. Imagine apps that factor in upcoming alignments alongside fault data, not for pinpoint predictions, but for better odds. It ties into bigger questions. How interconnected is everything? Our weather, moods, even biology might subtly dance to lunar rhythms. Why not our geology? Diving deeper, let's talk mechanics. Gravity follows Newton's law. Force equals mass over distance squared. Studies using GPS stations worldwide measure this crustal bounce in real time. During the 2025 February alignment, instruments picked up microflexes. Nothing felt by humans, but data gold for scientists. One team from Caltech modeled it. The added stress from planets might equal the weight of a few elephants on a fault line kilometers long. Subtle, yeah, but elephants add up. Critics argue correlation isn't causation. Earthquakes cluster naturally, and alignments are frequent enough to overlap by chance. A 2023 review in Seismic, a journal, concluded no significant planetary effect on big quakes. Yet, for smaller events or aftershocks, the tide link holds water, pun intended. Wrapping our heads around this, it's a reminder of scale. Earthquakes kill thousands yearly. If cosmic stresses play even a minor role, it's worth exploring. Plus, it's poetic. Planets billions of years old influencing our shaky ground. So next time you catch an alignment, hey, Mark your calendar for the next one in 2026. Gaze up and ponder. Is the universe giving Earth a gentle reminder to rumble? Science says it's subtle, debatable, but undeniably fascinating. It shows we're not isolated. We're part of a gravitational ballet across the solar system. Thanks for joining me on this cosmic quake quest. If you love this, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Have you felt a tremor during a starry show? Keep questioning the skies, folks. There's so much more to discover. See you next time.